In this video, we will look at what are the main energy-wasting mistakes that are costing the centers thousands of dollars and our shared planet tons of CO2 emissions. Then we will see the average usage of a typical 100 license plate center in Australia and the costs. And finally, we will see what are the 3 main things that you need to do in order to reduce your electricity usage, save money and help the environment. Let's do it! Hi, I'm Jan from sustainablebutterflies.com.au, on a mission to make Australian educational and care organizations sustainable, frugal and improve their ecological footprint. Just for the sake of completeness, in case it's not obvious, why actually bother with reducing electricity usage? So a few points. Obvious is the financial one, reducing the costs, but many centers don't even know what their usage is because they don't get the bills. So in Australia, we quite high emitters of CO2 per person, and 70% of our electricity is still being generated by burning fossil fuels. So there is great opportunity in this reduction to help the environment. So what are the main mistakes? Number 1, being on an incorrect tariff and paying too much for your electricity. Number 2, wasteful energy practices, especially HVAC, heating, ventilation and air conditioning. 3, lack of staff training about energy efficiency. 4, malfunctioning or old or inefficient appliances. And 5, not understanding the link between energy efficiency, therefore not communicating this link, and not translating this link into education. Now on the screen you see the usages, average usage of a typical 100 license plate center in Australia. And there's New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria, and then averaged out across the biggest state of Australia. That usage of over 60,000 kilowatt hours per year is the equivalent of 8 times Australian household of 4 people. Right? Now bear in mind that Australian household is obviously open 365 days a year, unlike a typical early childhood service. And you see the costs there, just over $18,000, and carbon footprint, over 50 tons of CO2 emissions. Now, let me add a footnote there. A typical early childhood center in Australia is a center open during school holidays, doing washing, electrical drying often, and cooking on site, and having no solar panels. Preschools, kindergartens, their usage is a little bit lower than this. What are the 3 things that need to be integrated in order to reduce the usage and help the environment? Number 1 is efficiency, and that means using efficient appliances such as high star rating fridges and LED lights and split system air cons, etc. But also using them efficiently, whether they are efficient or not efficient. Because if you have efficient appliances and you don't turning them off, you're using them at the wrong temperature, or you washing 3 tea towels in that efficient washing machine, obviously that is wasteful behavior. When I was working for a large early childhood group, we tested a sample of 25 centers in Melbourne, and we found that 36% of the energy usage of these 25 centers was used outside of office hours or business hours, open hours. In other words, on a $100,000 bill, $36,000 were spent on energy for closed centers. Number 2 is being on the right tariff and paying low rates, ideally, right? Now let's go back to our table and suppose that you had a typical 100 license plate center in Australia using just over 61,000 kilowatt hours per year. Now if you're paying 27 cents per kilowatt hour, that costs you over $16,500 per year. And that's usage only, by the way. If you're paying 38 cents per kilowatt hour, that costs you more than $23,000. And the difference, annual difference, is almost $7,000. Now, negotiating the right tariff and the right contract is very important. And while this is very complex and Aussie energy market is not straightforward, this would be one of the main things to look at, is that rate of electricity, whether you go towards that 27 cents per kilowatt hour or 38 cents. The majority of my clients are on this scale, and obviously helping them to get lower. By the way, we're just scratching surface here. There is much more to it. So if you want to go deeper, happy to be involved. Let me know. Now, what is the third part to be integrated into this energy reduction endeavor? You've chosen the right appliances and you're using them efficiently. You have negotiated the right contract and lowered your rates. So what is that? What else can you do? Well, solar generation, energy generation. Surprise, surprise. And actually, only about 15% of the centers that I've been to, and I've been to more than 150 centers, only about 15% have solar panels, which is fairly low in my opinion. And I'm convinced that it's for two categories of reasons. Right. One category is the obvious one, like they have a roof that is overshaded, or the roof is at the wrong angle or not facing the sun, or they don't have their own roof at all, being located in a shopping center, for example. So that's obvious, right? But when you think about these suburban centers with flat roof, not being overshaded, why don't they have solar panels? Why aren't they harvesting their roof? And that could be for many reasons. For example, the relationship with the landlord. Is it a healthy relationship? Or is there something in the lease that maybe prohibits that or makes it very difficult? Is that lease going to be renewed, right? Is it up for renewal? And what are the conditions of this renewal? The company that owns or that runs that service, do they have a long-term vision for that center, right? Are they willing to invest? Because the panels are going to be there for 20 or 25 years, right? So is that factored in? Is someone actually caring for this? Is energy efficiency actually a thing? Maybe it isn't. There could be other 10, 20 conflicting priorities. Because yes, the payback could be as low as 3 years, but it's still an investment that someone needs to make upfront, and there could be other 10 things requiring investment, which sometimes means a loan, and who's gonna win? So it could be also political. And some centers are run by Department of Education, so they have no say in that. My advice for solar, and I'm happy to help with individual feasibilities today, is definitely do not waste your roof. Harvest your roof as much as you can. I have seen centers, 90 or 100 plus centers paying at as low as $200 per month for electricity to the retailer, and centers also exporting more electricity to the grid than buying from the retailer. So this is fairly impressive, and definitely 100% would recommend it. And sometimes people ask about batteries. In my estimation, I would not recommend batteries because you don't need to use energy overnight, unlike households or bakeries, for example. Why would you pay a lot of money for batteries? They are still fairly expensive. Your out-of-hours energy usage should be very low, and because of that, there is, in my estimation, not good business case for paying and investing in batteries. Thank you very much for your time. Would love to help you more, reducing your costs and helping the environment through energy or other things. There's so much more. We are sustainablebutterflies.com.au, and who are we doing this for? For the environment, future generations, plants, animals, including butterflies. You have a great day.